Hello and welcome back to Stop and Go F1 for this, our preview video for the Monaco Grand Prix. And what a fun one this one's going to be, especially qualifying tomorrow. Of course, Monaco qualifying is always the best qualifying. We'll have coverage of all of it all across this weekend, including Formula 2 and Formula 3, so make sure you subscribe for all of that. But let's get into what we're going to discuss today. In the preview video, we're going to talk about the latest headlines, or news headlines from the last week. We're going to have a look at all the upgrades that have come in to Monaco in Upgrade Corner. Then we have special helmet street and special livery cul-de-sac, because we got a couple special liveries this weekend. I'm sure you've already seen them, but we'll talk about them nonetheless. Take a look at the free practice sessions, and then we'll make our predictions. A lot to get through. As I said, quite an exciting weekend, I reckon. Because looking at the free practice sessions, as I said, we'll get more into this in a little bit, but it seems like I think there is one person who is the favourite, but it's not Max Verstappen. And as for the rest of the grid, I have no idea what order it's going to be in. So it seems to be quite an unpredictable weekend, which is something I'm sure we can all get behind. Let's start by talking about the latest news, though. We're going to start by talking about the Williams team, because we know that Alex Albon will be driving for the Williams team next year, but we do not know who will be in that second seat, apart from the fact that it's very unlikely to be Logan Sargent. I think his time is up when it comes to that. But there are two names now who seem to be in contention for that seat. The first of which is Valtteri Bottas, who I think, if we go back to my predictions video at the start of the year as for where drivers would end up, I think I did say Bottas to Williams. I'm going to brag about that one because I got pretty much every other one wrong. But if I get that one right, I'll brag about it for the rest of my life. But yeah, Valtteri Bottas was spotted leaving the Williams hospitality building at Imola after having a alleged 15-minute meeting with James Vowles. That was reported by Autosport. Yeah, I think Bottas to Williams is a great move. It's very clear that Audi do not want either Bottas or Zhou, so I think they're both gone. And Bottas is an incredible talent and I think deserves to stay on the grid. And I think a Williams team of Bottas and Albon would be a really solid driver lineup to lead that team going forward. And I was looking at the past few years of Williams, and, for when was the last time Williams had two drivers that you could say, wow, they're both really strong? I mean, you could go back to Russell and Kubica, but I mean, at that point you have Kubica who's recovering from the injury and isn't quite how he used to be, and Russell was a rookie. So I think really you have to go back to the last time Bottas was in Williams, 2016, when you have that Bottas and Massa lineup. For the last time you can truly say Williams had two very strong drivers, and I think you'd get that again with a Bottas and Albon lineup. But it might not be Bottas, because over the past 24 hours a new report has come out saying that it could be Carlos Sainz, who is reportedly in advanced discussions with Williams regarding a potential deal for the 2025 season. And for me here, as much as Bottas to Williams is a great move, Sainz to Williams is a dreadful move. To go that far down the grid for a driver of that talent, with some of the teams that have been attached to him, we've had rumours of Mercedes, rumours of Audi, rumours of Red Bull, all interested in Sainz. If he ends up at Williams, I think that's a very bad move by him and by his management. I don't see it happening. I think it's too far of a jump down. I'd much clearly see him going to Audi over Williams just because of the intrigue and the mystery of it, rather than kind of going to Williams and knowing you'll be near the back. So for me, Carlos Sainz to Williams, I don't see it whatsoever. I'm not putting any stock into that rumor whatsoever. Maybe they've had discussions, maybe that's true, but every driver talks with every team when they're in this kind of position. I'm not doubting that they've had talks, but I do not see that one happening whatsoever. Moving on to another team, though, is Haas. Now, Haas, both their seats are available. We know Hulkenberg's gone for sure, because he'll be at stake next year. Magnussen is up in the air. We are pretty positive that it will be Behrman taking one of those seats, but the other seat has got a big question mark around it. And apparently, Haas are monitoring Esteban Ocon for potentially driving for them next year, trying to build a Behrman-Ocon duo. Now, this is quite surprising to me, because if I had to pick between Magnussen staying and Ocon joining, I'd probably pick sticking with Magnussen, if I'm perfectly honest with you. But I'm not surprised that Ocon wants to leave Alpine, because they're dreadful. But I think Esteban Ocon is more likely to turn up in Mercedes than he is Haas. So that was quite a surprising one for me there. Let me know about these ones. Do you see Sainz going to Williams? Do you see Ocon going to Haas? Personally, I do not see any of them happening. But stranger things have happened, including our next story about Pat Symonds, who has been F1's chief technical officer for the last few years. Previously, he's worked with the likes of Williams and Renault. He has left F1 and has joined Andretti Cadillac, which is a huge move and a huge get for Andretti Cadillac, a name of that sort who's had such a history within the sport, to join a team that aren't even a real team yet. So, Andretti still pushing forward ahead with their momentum to get on the grid with their Silverstone base, with all the hiring they've been doing, now signing Pat Symonds to join them, a man who has been, writing the rules of F1 for the last few years in terms of technical side. To be on their team now as a technical officer, I think that's a fantastic move for them. And if they ever get on the grid, I'm sure it'll go well. A couple more stories to talk to quickly now, and this is referring to stories that we've spoken about in the past. Now, this one we ran about this time last year, and it was the story of the German magazine that ran an AI-generated interview to seem like it was an interview with Michael Schumacher to talk about how he is after his condition, after his injury, and obviously sickening and disgusting and wrong. Well, it turns out that Michael Schumacher and his family have now received €200,000 in compensation after this, which is, obviously the right thing, and I'm glad that magazine is getting punished for it. So, fantastic news there. And something we talked about much more recently, the rain covers. We spoke about that a few weeks ago. The Ferrari were testing these rain covers to try and see how that would work. Well, F1 have abandoned the rain cover idea after that test, which is not surprising, because from the pictures it looked like it didn't work at all, mainly because the spray comes from the diffuser more than it does from the wheels. So yeah, wasn't going to work. It hasn't worked. Back to the drawing board on that one. I'm sure they'll come up with something else relatively soon. Right, upgrade corner, everybody. We'll talk about the upgrades that are coming out this weekend. Now, every team has brought something, but most of them are circuit-specific upgrades, that high downforce setup of Monaco. You need to have a Monaco setup for your car, otherwise it's just not going to work. So everyone's brought circuit-specific stuff. So pushing that to the side, talk about other upgrades that have come along here. Red Bull have brought a reliability upgrade to the front corner. Mercedes have brought a new front wing. Aston, well, they brought a lot of upgrades to Imola. None of them worked. They brought two more here to Monaco, their rear wing and their beam wing. They seem to be in a much better position so far this weekend than they were this time last weekend. Alpine have brought a new front suspension and new halo. Racing Bills brought a new front suspension. Stake F1 Team Kick Sauber, new rear wing, and Haas, new front suspension. Sorry, I'm nearly losing my voice here, but there you go. So we'll talk more about what that means in our practice run through. But yeah, Aston seem to be in a much better place this weekend than last weekend. Either the car is in a better place or this track suits them a little bit better, but yeah, total opposite from where they were this time last weekend. Right, Special Helmet Street is taking a quick break to go to Special Livery Cul-de-sac. With this one first, this is the McLaren Senna Tribute livery that they are running this weekend. I see a lot of people talk about this one. It looks quite nice. What I like about it is just how bright it is. Now, obviously, these are the colours of Senna's helmet. Senna has the most wins at Monaco out of anyone. 30-year anniversary of his passing as well. A lot of that coming together for this Monaco Grand Prix and this special livery here. I like this a lot. As I said, proper bright colours. It properly stands out in a world where we are now, where lots of liveries are dark colours and blacks and all very similar. This one stands out strikingly differently, and it looks pretty good as well. It reminds me of a Benetton, firstly. I think that's just the yellow and the green. But yeah, this looks very nice, and I like it a lot. So that's good there. We've got more Senna stuff coming up later on. We'll talk about Special Helmet Street. But also, Williams made a slight addition to their livery as well, with the Duracell Bunny on the engine cover there. So there you go. Lovely, lovely, lovely little addition there. Now let's talk about some helmets. As I said, McLaren going with the whole Senna stuff this weekend. Even they got Senna clothing and the uniforms for the pit crew, and everything is Senna related. And Oscar Piastri has got this special helmet, which is just his normal helmet, but with the Senna colours on it. And I think it looks quite nice. The only issue I have with it is every time they cut to him in the free practice sessions, all I see is this, which is Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes 2013 helmet when he first went across to Mercedes, and it's very much still his own helmet that he had at that time, which is very much a tribute to Senna in its own way, mixed with that Monster Energy sponsorship. This is the same. It's the same helmet. So that's the only thing about that one, but there you go. It's a nice little... It's retro in many different ways. Retro back to the 80s and 90s for Senna, and retro back to 2013. Also, this is Lando Norris's helmet for this weekend. Not a great quality image I've got for you there, but there you go. Very much, the two of them, what they've done is taken their own helmet designs for this year and made it Senna related. So you have these little kind of weird squiggly circles that Norris already has a lot of this year, and those seem to be cutaways through this chrome to reveal the original Senna design, which I like quite a lot. I always like chrome on Formula 1 cars and helmets anyway, but this mixed in with that, very nice stuff from Lando Norris there. Moving on to Nico Hülkenberg. Very simplistic helmet for him here, but I like it a lot. I like this the indent here of the crest. It's very subtle, but looks very nice. Fernando Alonso's done a special helmet, and Alonso does not do many special helmets. It's very rare to get an Alonso special helmet, and he only does it for ones that are really special and important to him. And this is just a sponsorship thing with Valvoline, or whatever, however you pronounce them, who I think are in the oil industry. So there you go. Albon's done this, it's more like a retro thing for him. Not his best work. Some of his helmets are fantastic. This is a bit... yeah, it's there. Charles Leclerc, though, his is real nice. I like this one a lot. And this is the right side. On the left side, it says Monaco here instead of Leclerc. And yeah, it's the mix of the diamonds with the Monaco flag of the red and white. And that looks really nice. I like that a lot. Valtteri Bottas, the king of Special Helmet Street, has done this beach inspired helmets, and it's to also do with a Monaco charity to clean the oceans, so that is very nice. And that is Nico Hülkenberg's one again, so I've got that one twice, but there you go. That is Special Helmet Street for this week. I showed you a lovely little glimpse there of the running order for the preview video. My goodness, aren't you lucky to see such a thing? Let's talk about free practice then. We'll start with free practice 1, which was topped by Lewis Hamilton. Quite surprising there, but Mercedes running well in FP1. Hamilton P1, Russell P2, Piastri in the middle of them there Russell in P3, Piastri P2. I don't fully believe this pace because over the last 3 years I have learned not to believe Mercedes FP1 or FP2 pace. They're always on the pace at the start of the weekend, and then it drifts away. So I don't believe that Mercedes are in the mix this weekend at all, but it seems like they're in a better position than they have been in the last few races. McLaren looking good. As I said, Piastri P2, Norris was P3. We have Ferrari for Leclerc in P5, Sainz a little bit off the pace in P10, but like I said before, Aston looking strong. Alonso was 6th, Stroll was 7th, but the big surprise here was the Racing Bills, Yuki Tsunoda 8th, Daniel Ricciardo 9th, and once again, for the second weekend in a row, we start the weekend with Red Bull really struggling. Verstappen was 11th, Perez in 12th. That carried on through to FP2. It seems like they made some setup changes to that Red Bull and made it a lot worse. It apparently is bouncing really bad to the point where neither driver could really see. Max Verstappen saying that he was getting headaches. In the end, he would finish FP2 in 4th and Perez was in 8th. So a bit of an improvement there, but still not looking fantastic. FP2 was topped by Charles Leclerc, doing a fantastic lap time of 1:11.278. which is faster than Max Verstappen's pole time was this time last year. Lewis Hamilton yet again in the mix there in a P2, and Fernando Alonso in a fantastic P3, so much better for him this time round than last weekend. Once again, McLaren's looking good. Norris was 5th. Piastri only 12th, but I don't think he ran on the softs. Also, Yuki and Ricciardo didn't run on the softs either in FP2. Yuki was 11th, Ricciardo was 16th. So they're not showing their true pace here as of yet. So I do think they're in the mix for the points at least. And if something happens to the bigger names, maybe they can climb up a bit from there. But as for who do I think looks strong, I think that the two fastest teams this weekend are Ferrari and McLaren in that order. I think Red Bull might be having to settle for 3rd place as it lies this weekend. Which brings me on to my predictions for the weekend. And as you know, if you've watched these preview videos before, I've never got a prediction wrong, and you can't prove that I did. So, what is my first prediction? My first prediction is around Yuki Tsunoda, who I think has been fantastic so far in the first 2 sessions. And I think he'll have his best finish of the season thus far. I don't know what his best finish of the season is. I imagine it's 9th. I'm going to just double check. But I think the way he's been going this weekend, he's been really consistent throughout the 2 sessions. He's been running really well, setting some really impressive times. Oh, his best finish so far is 7th. So he has to finish at least 6th, which might be a bit more difficult than I first imagined. But he's going to do it. He's going to do it, is Yuki Tsunoda. He's going to finish 6th or better this weekend, because I think he's on for a really good one here. But my second prediction is this. And I might have made this prediction before, and it might have gone wrong, but as I said, you can't prove that any of my predictions ever go wrong, but Charles Leclerc is winning this weekend. The Monaco curse, firstly, has evolved, because the Monaco curse was Charles Leclerc never finishes the Monaco Grand Prix. And then he did, twice. And now the Monaco curse is Charles Leclerc has never got a podium at the Monaco Grand Prix, which is it's less of a curse and more of just like a thing that happens to people. If you don't finish every race you enter, your home race, for like 5 or 6 years in a row, that's a curse. If you don't get on the podium, that's not a curse, that's just a thing. But anyway, he will win. Charles Leclerc will win the Monaco Grand Prix this weekend. He has been fantastic. In both sessions, he's looked consistently strong, especially in FP2, setting really fast lap times one after another. He will be on pole this time tomorrow, and he will win the race on Sunday. That is my prediction to you. As I said, we'll be here all weekend covering all things F1, F2, F3, all of that to come, so make sure you subscribe for all of that. Let me know your predictions for this weekend, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.